Morning, everybody. Today is Monday, April 13th, 2020. I hope you had an amazing 3-day weekend. I hope you were able to get outside for some of the beautiful weather with your family. And I just wanted to let you know I am missing you so much. And I just can't wait to celebrate our donut party on the computer or phone on Friday. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we are doing our sound practice with a review of our R blend. I'm sorry, not R blends. Tell me you're still cool, Mrs. Howell. Our bossy R's, so the sound. That's the one we're going to practice. And then we're going to do some syllable division on our new sound for the week, which is the O-I-O-Y, which is the oi sound. So let's go ahead and do our 3-part drill first. So we're going to do our R control vowels, and we are going to say the sound. And if I'm going too fast, then you need to pause it or go back to it when we get done. So today we are going to say the 2 or 3 letters and then say the sound. Ready? Here we go. A-I says A. I-N-G says ing. S-P says sp. T-R says ter. A says a. A can also say at the beginning of a word. SPR says spur. ZZ says z. ANK says ank. S says s. U says INK says ink. SK says sk. I says I. U magic E says you. Nice job. Okay, now we're going to see if we can say our real words, not real words, and we're going to blend these 2 parts together. So go ahead and get your hand ready. Here we go. S-ang, sang. That's a word. S-ank, sank. That is a word. Z-ank, zank. Not a word. Twank, twink. Not a word. Twee. Not a word. Ooh, we got a new ending here. Still 3 taps. Here we go. Tweaks. Tweaks. Nope, not a word. Twokes. Twokes. Not a word. N-oaks. Nokes. Not a word. N-x. Next. That is a word. Ooh, this one's a tricky one because this E is an open syllable, so that would make the E sound. So let's try it. N-E. Knee. Knee is a word, but this is not the right spelling for it. I need a K and an extra E. Ing. Ning. Not a word. Swing. Swing. That is a word. Swonk. Swank. Not a word. Ooh, I see this open syllable. There's nothing after that vowel. So I know this is going to say the O sound. So let's go ahead and say it. Swo. Not a word. Ooh, let's think about this. Is this going to now say the O or the ah? This is going to say the ah sound because now it's in the middle of a syllable or of a consonant. So let's switch this over to the ah sound. Here we go. Swats. Swat. Not a word. Nice job, you guys. Got a lot of those. So today, just want to remind you guys that the UR says like a monster. UR says and ER says So these are the 3 ways that we make that sound. And I have a funny poem here for you. You ready? I took a smoother, faster, longer, higher, brisker, swifter ride on a steeper, stronger, sleeker, slicker, quicker, slippery, slide. And if you notice, this has that ER and it adds it to the root word every time to show that it is increasing in intensity. So awesome job, guys. Okay, so we're going to go to our syllables, and we started this on Friday, if you remember. And so I'm going to practice that oi sound that we have here. So first thing I need to do is I need to find my vowels. Okay, and I see a vowel right here, but I see a vowel next to the consonant, and I know that this is going to be one of my diphthongs. So I'm going to count that as a vowel. And a diphthong, remember, is when we have that vowel and it's next to another letter and it changes the sound of the vowel. So that's a diphthong. See if I have another vowel. I do have another vowel, that O, and I know that OY is another diphthong, and that's going to say the oi sound. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I did it. Okay, and then I have to mark my consonant. Now remember, we're trying to decide if this is a 1 or 2 syllable word. I see a consonant and a vowel, and then I see a consonant vowel. And I know that I can break it after that first vowel. Remember, that is our first rule, like with the lion. And so I'm going to take this and see if I divide it there, that syllable, if the word makes sense. So let's do that first. Let's see if the word makes sense. Ready? The OW is going to say the ow sound. So here I go. K, ow, cow, b, oi, boy, cowboy. Is that a word? Yes, and that makes sense. So I know I divided it right. Remember, first try is you are going to divide it after that first vowel when you have a vowel, consonant, vowel. Let's try this one. Okay, we're looking for our vowels first. So I see an O by itself, so I know that is going to definitely be there. And then I see another diphthong, which we're going to practice today. So we have OI, and the OI is going to say oi. Okay, so now I have that. Remember, I'm just worrying about what's in the middle. Oops, that kind of went crazy. There we go. Okay, so remember, guys, our first trick with our lion syllables is that we're going to divide it after that first vowel and see if it makes sense. Okay, so we're going to divide it right there and see if this makes sense. So here we go. P, oi, poi, s, on, son, poison. Ooh, is that close to a word that you know? It's close to a word I know. I know the word poison. And do you remember how we've talked about this, like button and mitten? Sometimes when you put it next to that N, it changes the sound of the vowel, but we know it's close. And you guys do that all the time in Lexia. So let's see, what word would be really close to poison? Poison. Poison. And this is the word poison. You got to make sure in your house you never go near poisons. Okay, let's see if we can do this one. I see a vowel, and I see another vowel, and this one is a diphthong. That means that vowel is next to another letter, so it's going to change the sound. Okay, so now I got to look for my consonants, and I see a consonant. Oh, I see an ST together. I want to keep those together because that's a blend. And I see another. Oh my goodness, this is going to be tricky. Look it, guys. I have an ST that's a blend and a TR that's a blend. But you know what I remembered? Is that when I was doing my sound practice, we practiced this. This is a trigraph. So I actually only need one consonant because this is a trigraph. Remember, those 3 letters are going to go together. Okay, so now I see vowel, consonant, vowel. Do you guys remember with our lion rule? What's the best bet? We're going to cut it off after that first vowel. Okay, so now if I cut this off after the first vowel, this E right here is going to become long. It's going to become an open because look at, there is nothing after that vowel right here. So this right here is going to make that long sound. Ready? Let's try it. D-E-D, destroy. Destroy. 2 syllables. Destroy. Is that a word you know? Sure is. Awesome job. Okay. So today we're going to be reading a story called Maple Syrup. And I think what I want to do, guys, is I think I want to move something. I want us to see if we can move around a little bit. So I'm going to slide this up here. We talked a little bit about that that OI and the OY. And here's our posters if we were in our classroom. This is what you'd see. So OI says oi, like a coin. And OY says oi, like a boy. And here are a couple of words that I know. So if I put this in the middle now, OI is usually, not all the time, usually at the beginning or the middle. So like this is B, oil, boil, sp, oil, v, ois. And remember that makes the S sound because it has a CE. P, oint, point. Now, OY is usually at the end of the syllable or the end of the word. So right here I have the word boy, ploy. Ploy is like when you are kind of putting together a plan. Now I see this OY in the middle. I see an OY actually at the beginning of the word. But remember, it said that it would be at the end of the syllable. So that tells me this trick is going to be a 2-syllable word. So let's try that. Oyster. Oyster. Oyster is a name of an animal that lives in the ocean. Okay. Oh, I see that OY again in the middle. So this has to be the end of my syllable. So let's go ahead and pretend we're going to divide it right there. Here we go. Roy, royal. It means like a king or a queen. And so that tells you a big tip here, guys, is that OY is going to be in the at the end of the word or the syllable. So now we're going to do some move and read, and we're going to do it with our OI. And I'm going to read you guys the words today, and then tomorrow you guys will have to read them on your own. Make sure you're watching the girl to see how she's stretching, actually the girl or the boy, and make sure you guys are getting your full workout here. So here we go. Coin, foil, oil, boil, oil, oil, spoil. Ooh, don't eat that food. Oint, point. Joy. Ooh, this one's a little tricky because this one's a red word actually. So we have annoy. We don't say annoy, we say annoy because that A sometimes at the beginning can make the sound. Annoy. Toy. Oh, we just read this word. Here we go. Oyster. And see that oyster is that animal that lives in the ocean and it makes pearls. We read this one earlier too. We know this one because it's going to be an open syllable right here. Ready? Let's do it. Destroy. I bet that wrecking ball is wrecking that wall. We read this one too. Here we go. Ow, cow, boy, cowboy. Make sure you're getting your stretch on. Oh, and that one is a different sound. So we are all set. So you guys can have a seat and we will keep going. Here we go. So today we're going to be reading a story. Let me just move that up for anyone who's using this later. We're going to be reading a story called Making a Maple Syrup. And this story, last week we read a story that was an informational text and about communication. And this week we're going to be reading a realistic fiction book. So this story has not happened to me in particular, but we're going to find out these kids right here if it's happened. This is a level I, so it might be a little challenging for some of you and it might be easy for other people. So this one is, the author is Teresa McNamara and the art or the illustration is by Joanne Krzyzewska. I hope I said that right. Some vocabulary that we're going to need to know today is the word machine, that's a red word, shack, which is like a shed or a rundown house, smaller house, sugar, and syrup. And syrup has that Y in it that kind of makes it sound a little different. Making maple syrup. "We're here," said Luke and Sophie. They ran to hug their grandma. "I'm so happy to see you," she said. "Where's Grandpa?" asked Luke. "He's by the sugar shack," said Grandma. "Let's go see him," said Mom. So right now I'm looking, and the setting of the story, where do you think the setting is? Tell the computer. I see that it's in a wooded area, probably not a city because I don't see a lot of big buildings, probably in the country somewhere. Oh, look at this machine on the tractor. "Hello, kids," said Grandpa. "Would you like to help me make some maple syrup?" "Yes, please," said the children. "What do we do?" "These buckets are full of tree sap. Help me put the sap in the tank," Grandpa said. So you can see that the buckets are right underneath this pipe that's in the tree, and that's how they're collecting the syrup. Sophie and Luke helped Grandpa hold the pail. They poured the sap into the tank. "Grandpa, how did you learn how to make maple syrup?" Sophie asked. "I learned from my grandfather," Grandpa said. Soon the tank was full of sap. "What happens to the sap now?" asked Sophie. "It goes into the sugar shack," said Grandpa. Ooh, look at this sugar shack. I wonder what they make in there. Now let's think about the title of our story, Making Maple Syrup. So they're taking that syrup, the sap from the tree, and putting in here. What do you think they're going to be making? Grandpa pulled a hose out of the shack. "This hose will get the sap into the sugar shack," said Grandpa. Grandpa connected the hose to the tank. He pressed a button on the hose. The sap was sucked into the hose. It went inside the sugar shack. Soon the tank was empty. Grandpa took out the hose. "Now the sap is in a machine inside the sugar shack," he said. "The machine will boil the sap." "Why do you boil sap, Grandpa?" asked Luke. "Sap has water in it. We boil the sap to get rid of the water," Grandpa replied. "Then sap gets thicker and becomes syrup." Okay, so we got to think about that. Sap has two parts. It has water, and then the other part of the sap, when it becomes thicker, becomes the syrup. Grandpa and the children went inside the shack. Grandma and Mom were already there. "I have bad news," said Grandma. "The machine is broken." "Oh no! How will we make maple syrup?" asked Luke. "We will boil the sap ourselves," said Grandma. "We will put the sap in a kettle. Then we will put the kettle over the fire. That's how people used to boil sap," said Grandpa. How much sap does it take to make syrup?" asked Sophie. "It takes a lot of sap," said Grandma. So here's the kettle that they're using. A kettle would be another name for a what? For a big pot. Also, sometimes you might have a tea kettle, which boils water to make tea. Grandpa started the fire very carefully. He then put some sap into the kettle. He boiled the sap. Luke and Sophie played while it boiled. The sap got thicker and turned into syrup. "Can we eat some now?" asked Luke. "The syrup is very hot," said Grandpa. "We have to cool it down first." "I bet Mom and Grandma would like some too," said Sophie. Grandpa smiled. "I think we all want some," he said. Mom and Grandma were inside. They had a tray of snow. "What is the snow for?" asked Luke. "Is it to cool the syrup?" asked Sophie. "That's right," said Mom. Grandma poured some syrup in the snow. Grandma took a stick and pressed it into the syrup, and then she rolled the syrup around the stick. It was a maple syrup lollipop. Here's a sweet treat for our 2 helpers, said Grandma. Yummy, said Luke and Sophie. And here's a treat for us too, said Mom. So nice job reading that with me. If you did not get a chance to read that with me, you definitely want to pause and rewind, or go to the link on the Google Slides with me. So this week we have some new word words. Whoa, we got a lot of red words this week. We have one blue word, and that is actually a root word that we've already had. It's an open word. So if we cover up that ing, you see the word go and then ing, so it's going. And then we have a couple of red words. So go ahead and get your arms ready. Here we go. We're going to do them 3 times. The first word is been. Like I have been to the store a long time ago. So ready? Here we go. B-E-E-N, ben. B-E-E-N, ben. B-E-E-N, ben. And that one should say bean, and it does not. That's why it's red. Okay, so the next one looks like do's, and it's actually does. The O makes the sound. So here we go. D-O-E-S, does. D-O-E-S, does. D-O-E-S, does. Next word, words. And you guys see words all the time because we see new word wall words, words I should know, vocabulary words. So this is one of those words that we see all the time. W-O-R-D-S, words. W-O-R-D-S, words. W-O-R-D, words. And the last one, that Y at the end is going to say the E sound, but it's actually the word carry, like you carry a bucket. So here we go. C-A-R-R-Y, carry. C-A-R-R-Y, carry. C-A-R-R-Y, carry. Okay, so let's see if we can find some of these sentences here. So I'm going to give you the sentence. You guys decide if you know which word says it back there. So the first one we said was, we say the words, join us. And so we know that word is crossed off and on there. Okay, next sentence. The big ship has east. The big ship has east. The big ship has going east. The big ship has been east. The big ship does east. The big ship carry east. Which one makes the most sense? Yep, that word been. That would make the most sense. And I'm going to highlight that when we've done it, so that way we know we've already used that word. That's a tip that I can do. Okay, next sentence. Now it is west. Now it is west. It is going west. Last ones, we got to figure out which order they go to. What, it, What carry it does? Does that make sense? Nope. What does it carry? That makes sense? Sure does. Okay. So this week we are going to be talking about biographies again. We have one more week of biographies, and then we're going to switch into our next unit. And so today I'm going to just read you a little bit about 3 famous people that were really important to our world and our country. So the first one was Clara Barton. And Clara was a nurse. She started the American Red Cross. The Red Cross cares for people who need help. And so Clara was a nurse at the time when, if you can tell by her dress and things, that it was a long time ago. And she started a group that cared for people who were in really big trouble because there was like a big disaster or things that their part of the country needed more help. And so the Red Cross would step in and help. This is a man named Booker T. Washington, and Booker T. Washington was a teacher. His school helped African Americans go to college, get good jobs, and start their own business. And so we had talked about how in our country that people who were African American had a harder time with segregation and those terrible, awful, awful, awful laws that were in place, and that it took many brave people to stand up and say those laws were not okay. And Booker T was a teacher, and he helped people who had a harder time finding good jobs and starting businesses because of the bad laws. He helped those people find jobs, and he was a really brave, very intelligent man. And this is a woman, and her name is Sacagawea. And Sacagawea was an explorer, and her skills helped other explorers cross the United States and make maps of the land. So she was really famous because at the time, the United States, not everybody knew all the parts of the United States because they hadn't been mapped out. And Sacagawea would lead people to explore and find the different parts of the United States. And so these three people all had really big challenges, but did you think they stepped down from those challenges, or did they really step up? Yep, they stepped up. So I want you to think, you don't need to write it down today, but I want you to think, if you got to talk to one of these people, could you think of a question that you would really like to ask them? If you can think of that question, make sure you tell an adult, or you can email it to me. So we're continuing on with our biography. So I just want to read you your biography anchor chart. And so the main idea of a biography is what the text is mostly about. And so the text main idea is Gail has done many important things in her life. And so, oops, flew right off that. So this biography right here is going to be about a girl named Gail, and it's going to tell about the most important things in her life. A biography has a main or central idea that tells what the text is mostly about. And so when we talked about those biographies, they're going to be about real people. Remember, autobiographies when I write it about myself, biographies when I read about somebody else. It is important to set a purpose or a reason for reading. A purpose could be to learn about someone from the past. Setting a purpose helps readers understand what they need to get when they read the text. And so when we read a biography, the purpose of reading a biography is for us to learn more about somebody else. Okay. So today for writing, we're actually going to be listening to a read aloud about a story called The Rattletrap Car. And when we read The Rattletrap Car, I want you to think about something that the author uses a lot, and those are called ellipses. And ellipses is what the author does to keep your attention because they have something really big to tell you. So if you see an ellipsis is usually has those extra dots, and then it has something else afterwards. And I want you to see how the author uses it today.
It's Miss Deb. Today I'm going to be reading you a book called Rattletrap Car. If we were all together in our classroom, I would have been reading this book as part of our transportation theme. But we can't be together, so I'm going to read it to you this way, and I hope that you enjoy it. Rattletrap Car. There it is. Junie was hot. Jakey was hot. Even the baby was hot, hot, hot. Let's go to the lake, said Junie and Jakey. Go, said the baby. Oh dear, said Papa. I don't know if we can make it in our rattletrap car. It doesn't go fast, and it doesn't go far. Please, 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 cried Junie and Jakey. Go, cried the baby. All right, said Papa. We'll give it a try. So he packed up a thermos full of razzleberry, dazzleberry, snazzleberry fizz, and some chocolate marshmallow fudge delight. Junie took her beach ball. Jakey took his surfboard. The baby took her 3-speed wind-up paddle wheel boat. Papa turned the key. Brum, 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 brum. Clinkety, clankety, bing, bang, pop. They were off to the lake in their rattletrap car. They didn't go fast, and they didn't go far when, boom! The tire went flat. Never mind, said Junie. I know just what to do. She put her beach ball on the car and stuck it on tight with chocolate marshmallow fudge delight. Papa turned the key. Brum, 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 brum. Lumpety, bumpety, clinkety, clankety, bing, bang, pop! They were off to the lake in their rattletrap car. They didn't go fast, and they didn't go far when whompety whomp, the floor fell off. Never mind, said Jakey. I know just what to do. He put his surfboard on the car, and he stuck it on tight with chocolate marshmallow fudge delight. Papa turned the key. Brum, 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 brum. Whappity, bappity, lumpety, bumpety, clinkety, clankety, bing, bang, pop! They were off to the lake in their rattletrap car. They didn't go fast, and they didn't go far when spitter, spitter, sput! The gas tank fell off. Never mind, said Papa. I know just what to do. He put the thermos full of razzleberry, dazzleberry, snazzleberry fizz on the car, and he stuck it on tight with chocolate marshmallow fudge delight. Papa turned the key. Brum, 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 brum. Fizzly, sizzly, whappity, bappity, lumpety, bumpety, clinkety, clankety, bing, bang, pop! They were off to the lake in their rattletrap car. They didn't go fast, and they didn't go far when thunk-it-a-thunk! The engine fell out. Oh dear, said Jakey. Oh dear, said Junie. Oh dear, said Papa. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There they sat by the side of the road, all broken down and hot, 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 almost to the lake in their rattletrap car. Junie shook her head. Jakey shook his head. Papa shook his head. The baby shook her 3-speed wind-up paddle wheel boat. Go, said the baby. Go, go, go. Do you think, said Junie, that it just, said Jakey. Might work, said Papa. Go, said the baby. So they took the baby's boat and put it on the car and stuck it on tight with chocolate marshmallow fudge delight. Papa turned the key. Bum, 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 bum. Flippity, floppity, fizzly, sizzly, whappity, bappity, lumpety, bumpety, clinkety, clankety, bing, bang, pop! Yay! They were off to the lake in their rattletrap car. They didn't go fast, but they did go far. They made it to the lake in their rattletrap car. Junie was cool. Jakey was cool. Papa and the baby were cool, cool, cool. All day long, they were cool at the lake till the sun went down, till the moon came up, and they went flippity, floppity, fizzly, sizzly, whappity, bappity, lumpety, bumpety, clinkety, clankety, bing, bang, pop, all the way back home. The end.
So the author used a lot of ellipses, if you notice when she said when, ... or Jakey said, could it be, ... And so sometimes authors use that ... to kind of tell you something big that's going to happen. So what I would like you today is I would like you to think of one sentence, just one. It's all you have to write today. You don't have to do a big journal writing or anything. Just one sentence that you would want the reader to kind of like be super excited about. Okay, so I'm going to try to think of a couple, at least one or two. So I was so sad that we couldn't have our donut party, but I figured out a way. So you see how I use that ellipsis? I put those dots in here so I could kind of pause my writing and the reader, and they're like, oh, what's going to happen? So I was so sad we couldn't have our donut party, but I figured out a way, and it kind of made you pause for a minute to think about what I could be saying. So let's think of another one. Can you think of a one while I'm trying to think of it? We were on the way to the park when honk, honk, we heard a flock of geese. So I had that pause there, that ellipsis, so that way I told you, wait, something's coming. And it said honk, honk. And I kind of gave you a sound effect. And then I told you what it was. So today I would love to see if you guys could either send me a picture or post it on your Google Classroom or a Flipgrid, any way you want to. And I would love to see your just one sentence. If you just want to take a video of you saying your sentence, you could do that too. So I would love to hear it from you. So today for math, we are going to be starting a unit on 2D shapes. And so I have a quick video for us to watch. This was songs. And 2D shapes, I know you guys have been doing it since kindergarten and before that, but we really want to focus on the properties. So while you're watching the video, I want you to think about how many corners, and these are right here, and how many sides. And I'm going to tell you there is a special math word that is, instead of saying corners, I want you to say vertice. So vertice is the same as a corner, and that just means the same. So if you see corners here, I want you to think about it as a vertice or vertices. Okay, here we go.
Circle, square, triangle, rectangle. Spread your feet out wide, put your arms out front, circle round and round.
See if you guys can do that. So get your feet out wide, put your arms out wide, and see if you can make a circle.
Everyone shape up, make a square in the air. Feel your muscles pump, use your legs and arms. Everyone shape up. Now let's make shapes all together. Don't you stop. Follow me and move your body. Let's shape up.
Here we go together.
Circle. Go round like the sun. Go round like a ball. A circle has no straight lines at all. We made a circle. Square. Straight line down, then across, back up, then one more line. A square has 4 equal sides. We made a square. Triangle. Slant down, then across. Slant back, up, high. A triangle only has 3 sides. We made a triangle. Rectangle. Line short, line long. Line short, then straight home. A rectangle. Too short and too long. We made a rectangle. Oval. Squish a circle down, go all the way around. An oval, no straight lines to be found. We made an oval. Spread your feet out wide, put your arms out front, circle round and round. Everyone shape up, make a square in the air. Feel your muscles pump, use your legs and arms. Everyone shape up. Shapes are all around, just look, they can be found. A box can be a square, a wheel is a circle, a teepee is a triangle, a house can be a rectangle, a football is an oval. Look around, shape up. If you like
Okay, guys, so what I want you to do is I want you to either pause the video, or you can do this at the end, and it says this 2D shape, and there is a key down here for you. So we have, I'm sorry, word bank. So we have hexagon, pentagon, square, circle, rectangle, triangle. And I will tell you guys, this is a hexagon and this is a pentagon. Pentagon means 5 and hex means 6. So this says the 2D shape is, and you don't need to copy this sheet exactly, but you do need to write it down somewhere, so that way you can learn it. So it has how many corners. So this 2D shape is a square, and a square has how many corners or vertices? 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many sides? It has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And this shape right here, I'm sorry guys, you know what I'm seeing is that Mrs. Howell I tried to make this paper a little bit bigger, and when I did that, I took my circle and I made it into an oval. There we go. So this is a circle. Does it have any corners, any spots that the two lines connect? Nope, so it has 0 corners and 0 sides. You may see a pattern that evolves, and that's great. I would love to hear about that. So once again, you do not need to print this, but I do want you to draw the shape somewhere on a piece of paper, and then go ahead and tell me how many sides and how many corners or vertices it has. Okay, so today for science, we're going to be watching a part of a Mystery Doug, and then you're going to have some work to do after we get done with that.
Hi, it's Doug. I want you to use your imagination today. Imagine that you woke up one morning and your room seemed unusually dark for morning time. So you go downstairs to the living room, and wow, it looks dark here too. In fact, the whole house looks pretty dark. And that's when you realize, wait, where are the windows that used to be here? What is going on? The windows in your house are all gone. It's all just walls. So you ask your parents, what happened to the windows? Your parents say, what are windows? Are you serious, you ask them? You know, windows, the things made of glass that let us see outside. What's glass, your parents ask you? You guys don't know what glass is? Come on, you know what I'm talking about. It's that stuff that our car's windshield is made of. It's see-through. So you take your parents out to the driveway to show them, but to your surprise, even the car's windshield isn't there. It's just metal. What is going on? It's like you're living in a world where there's no glass. There's no material that's see-through, no windshields, no windows, nothing. Now, luckily, all of this has just been using our imagination. But what would this world be like? I mean, if there were no see-through materials, no glass, nothing see-through at all, how would your life be different?
Can you guys think about that? How would it really be different? And what would you be missing out on if you had no clear materials whatsoever?
Without see-through material like glass, it'd be terrible. Having something be see-through is really important. It's so important that we even give see-through its own fancy word, transparent, which means lets light through. Like if we didn't have glass, we wouldn't be able to have windows that let light through to our homes or schools or buildings during the daytime. It'd be all dark and gloomy inside. Kind of sad. Or imagine if we couldn't let light into our cars. If we didn't have windshields. To see where they're going, the driver would have to stick their head out of the car. That would make it so hard to drive. But you know what? We actually haven't always had things that are see-through. See-through materials like glass had to be invented. Before they were invented, most people's homes didn't have windows. Think of how dark it would have been inside this house. These homes were completely made of materials that weren't see-through. Materials like wood or stone. These are not see-through. The fancy word for this is opaque, but I'll keep saying not see-through for now. I'll bet you can think of other examples of things that are not see-through or opaque, like a metal pan or what the walls are made of in your house. So, a long time ago, when wood and stone and metal were the only materials that people had, houses couldn't have windows because none of those materials are see-through. But the very first windows weren't actually made of glass. Before glass was invented, people had discovered something special. Take a look at this. People discovered rocks that were made of this stuff. If you're curious, it's called mica. You can see that mica peels off in layers or sheets using a tool. Now, there's something to notice about this. Watch what happens if I take a piece of mica and I put my hand behind it. Look, notice how you can kind of see my fingers? It's a bit blurry and hard to see, but mica is kind of see-through. Scientists call this translucent. So if people could find mica, instead of having dark houses, people could make the very first kind of windows. Do you see how it lets light into the room? But it's still kind of blurry. You can't see clearly outside, since mica is only kind of see-through. So what about the windows we have today? Who discovered glass? Glass was invented a long time ago, so long ago that we don't even know the person's name. All we know is that someone had the idea to put sand into a really hot oven. Yeah, sand, like at the beach. Here's someone today who does this. What happens when you put sand in a really hot oven? Well, once the sand gets hot enough, it melts. And you can see, look here, it looks a lot like lava, doesn't it? Now that it's melted, then you can pour the melted sand like this. And then once it cools off, it does become hard and see-through. It becomes glass. This is a window being made. See right there? But you could have made it into any shape, even into glass bottles like this. So once people discovered that they could melt sand to make glass, we could have the first totally see-through windows. Take a look around you now. All the glass you see was once sand that had to be melted. Thank goodness for whoever discovered this strange fact about sand, because this is how we have windows, but also windshields, eyeglasses, and anything made of glass. So we've seen that in terms of how see-through something is, there's not see-through in materials like wood, there's kind of see-through, like the first types of windows, and there's completely see-through, like today's glass windows.
So, we were going to do this today, and we are going to save this for tomorrow. And so we are going to not find our different objects because today's lesson was pretty long. So tomorrow you're going to have to do a search in your house for those three things: transparent, kind of see-through, which is translucent, and opaque. So for today, let me erase this. Your jobs are to write, you could have done this with the video, or you need to do it now. You need to write one ellipse sentence. Remember that has those dots. I want you to find the properties of the 2D shapes. And if you want a math challenge, you could try the KenKen 1930 today. Rest of your day should look like 15 minutes of Lexia or Splash Math. You can read an epic or 20 to regular book. And today I'd like you to read to a pet or stuffed animal. And you can listen to Mrs. Howell's Read Aloud, which is the mission of addition. And if you want to join me at 1 o'clock, we're doing a Google Meet for our Monday meeting about how your weekend was. And then don't forget to do your Google form for Monday. That tells me that you were able to do the lessons with me. So I will see you guys at 1 o'clock for our Google Meet. I miss you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.